So marketing is basically the brand identity is how the company wants to be viewed, and the brand image is how it's actually viewed. And you want a sort of like cohesion between that. Okay. Right. Hello. Welcome to the Evolve podcast with me, Lewis, and Sam. How's it going, Sam?
Hello. Good. I really thought you were about to just rush past my intro now. I thought you were that pissed off. You're going to go, Sam, next. Sam, next. Let's go to the next topic, please. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm not going to... I just pretty much unloaded really good news to you. And I'm going to save it for redundancy tales because by the time this episode comes out, it'll be too soon. And you're a bit more... It'll be too sensitive for this to come out for me to say it on this ep. So I'll wait to process all of it.
Okay.
I'll wait to process all of it. And then we can talk about it when, So as much as we said, we'll be really transparent and we love you guys and we want you to know our life story.
Sam's lying to you.
You will. Yeah. I'm a datty liar. It's too sensitive for this to come out. So we have to wait. We'll have to wait. But the people understand when the time is right, when the information is out and live, they'll get it. They'll understand.
Sorry, I just remembered a key it is. Yeah, you couldn't say that now.
Exactly.
Sorry, I understood.
Judging me like that with your eyes.
Yeah.
Rude.
I'm sorry. Fine.
What are we talking about today anyway?
You chose the topic. I'm going to preface it. We're doing marketing or something about marketing.
Marketing part 2. Marketing part 2.
We didn't do part 1.
We did. Part 1 we talked about, we touched on social media. We touched on getting cancelled. Lewis, were you here? Because I was.
Yeah, that was social media. That was not marketing.
Fine, social media part 2. You're going to have to cut this out. This is messy. I'm not happy about my episode being treated like this.
What episode?
Lewis is like...
Yeah, you said you're going to talk about...
Again.
Yeah, we're going to do marketing general.
Okay, social media general. Social media part 2 general. Because that's what we're going to talk about. But yeah, I think, you know what? Yeah, we were talking about marketing general. You're right. Let's talk about marketing. And ultimately, Lewis, why I wanted to talk about this was because I feel like in the past few episodes... Sorry, I'm brushing my hair off me, guys. In the past few episodes, past 30 episodes, we have touched on the core subjects. And I think some episodes we've done like a nice deep dive and we've done research and stuff. And most of the time, I basically jump in the episode and talk about things from my personal experience. You actually do the reading and come in with facts, and I just talk about feelings. And then we basically end it there and key. However, I wanted to do a session where we basically put our jobs on the line, our skill sets on the line, and we talk about how to actually do things to help a business grow. That's what I wanted to touch on today. So not just like, marketing and this person's done that and how their business gone to crap and we got in this like rabbit tunnel, wherever it is, about that individual. I just wanted to talk about me or using the person who's got a startup as an example. What do they need to do marketing wise to get their business off the ground? What's the top things they need to be considering? And what's your job title? Insert job title here.
My title, it sounds very pretentious. It's like global campaign manager or some shit like that. I change it depending on who else I'm applying to.
London for you, really, isn't it? That's just the most London of job titles I've ever heard. But yeah, global campaign manager. So you're the marketing guy in your company. And my title, go on.
I'd say it's like digital ads, which is its own subsection of garbage, and I'm going to go into why.
Perfect. So it's still going to be one of those sessions, but at least it'll be a bit more informative. Well, not that our sessions are, but I just wanted to challenge us a little bit and see if we can help those people that are kind of looking to get their business off the ground, looking to do some marketing and give them some advice around that. Also, it ties in quite nicely because the idea I'm working on with Luke, we're actually now considering what the marketing plan is for that idea. So it helps me kind of keep the context around that, and you can kind of fix that problem for me without me giving out too much about what the idea is. So I'm a product manager, but my skill set is, my expertise are now in Gen Z financial marketing. So technically there's a marketing angle from my side there. and also you are a global marketing coordinator?
Global campaign manager is the title.
Global campaign manager. So there's angles marketing here, and we're just going to touch on that really. So my first question, Lewis, what does marketing mean to you?
It's a good question. I would say marketing for me is more about the communication of the story a brand is trying to tell in my book. And I also view marketing as basically the step behind sales. So marketing, so when I think of sales are very much like upfront, in your face, basically trying to reinforce the story of the brand, which is where marketing comes in. Now, marketing, you think of multiple things. You could think of like advertising. I actually see advertising as like a pillar of marketing. Advertising is very much where I'm situated. I don't consider myself to be in a marketing role as such. I consider myself to be more in advertising, particularly because I'm coming from a publisher perspective and doing campaigns. So I'm not marketing Universal. I'm doing the advertising for other marketers. Do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean. I get what you mean.
But I'd say marketing is becoming a very sort of blurred sort of thing for me now, because it's changed a lot. And the reason why I say that is because if you consider how people like to market from like a corporate view, I think I'm gonna answer this in like a corporate way, but also kind of consider the creative way, and you'll see what I mean. So like in a marketing way, like you'll take your Universals, be like, oh, we need to develop our branding strategy and and then they're going to do all this ads and all this sort of shit, and then bitch about 2% click-through rate and video, and go through like all these different like formats and making sure we're on TV and everything like that. But I'm very much in a digital space where it's all very messy because it's very saturated. And I was deep in this when I was in the shower earlier, and it's just like, you know how it's just like they're giving a shit about like 2% of people clicking on a campaign, and that's not even good. Like, why? Like, I feel like we all lied to ourselves saying like a 2% click-through rate is good universally. It's actually pretty fucking shit, because just because they're clicking on the ad doesn't mean that they're buying anything.
True.
So there's a lot of bullshit in my experience of advertising, because I actually don't see those. I don't see the metrics as actually good indicators that marketing's kind of working. But I'm coming from an advertising angle. Now, marketing from a startup point of view is actually quite exciting, because it's very much you want people to be aware. And for us, with this pod, for example, it's like we want people to listen, and we want people to like follow what pages we're on. And I actually prefer this way of marketing, because it's actually I think it's easier to kind of get more invested in the metrics as opposed to advertising. And I think marketing for us is quite difficult, because every single social media channel, which if you don't have, you're basically gonna fail, it's very saturated everywhere we go. So it's, how do you actually market yourself in a world where we have to market in areas where no one's actually in the marketplace no one actually wants to be targeted for anything. Like, no one gives a shit about what you're doing. And I feel like marketing is basically you're trying to get someone's attention in a space that they don't actually want to be bothered 90% of the time. Like, that's why, like, you know, the only adverts I like is when I go to the cinema, right? Because it's like, oh, I'm seeing a trailer, because I'm obviously going to see a film. I'm clearly the person who I'm interested in seeing what other films come out, so I go see those films. Like, those are the only real examples of I actually think, oh, I'm actually really glad that, you know, I've been targeted for this. The rest of the time, I'm spending money on dumb shit, and then like I feel like, why did I even buy this? But it's like Insta. Like, no one wants ads on Insta. Like, no one wants ads anywhere. And I think I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but like just coming from an advertising perspective as well, it's like Universal, Netflix, Prime, they've now added ads to all these subscription services, which are exclusively not. And they keep on saying, oh, well, 60% of our users actually say ads are improving their experience and all these sort of things. And I just think this is a lot of bullshit. So marketing can be very exciting. However, the advertising, which is a big bulk of marketing, from a digital standpoint, I think it's a lot of bollocks. That's what marketing means to me.
Well, I'm glad you got that off your chest.
I needed to.
I'm glad you got that off your chest. You really need to get that off your chest. Jesus.
Because I've kind of deemed like this isn't all as cracked up to be. I think from a strategic point of view, like if you're sitting and if you're in charge of the vision or the marketing strategy, I think you'd have a lot of fun because you're in control of everything. But if you're the cogs that have to, press buttons and push campaigns and things like that, it's long.
Yeah, I agree. I'll put it this way. For me, marketing is... I get what you mean in terms of, okay, marketing is... when you touched earlier, is basically the brand, right? That's what... am I wrong in saying that? Marketing is effectively the brand, and advertising is actually pushing that message out there.
So I would say marketing is the goal of trying to match the brand image with your brand identity. So the brand identity is how you want to be. I'd say marketing is basically the brand identity is how the company wants to be viewed, and the brand image is how it's actually viewed. And you want a sort of cohesion between that.
That is
put it into great terms. It's basically
exactly, because I was gonna say what you're saying sounds like branding, but that makes more sense. Marketing is so it's
what it means to me. That's what it actually means. What it means to me is a whole bunch of shit because it's traumatized me.
I'm not gonna lie. Through the definition you gave, I felt like a darkness in you was being released. I felt like we'd been shaking this Coke bottle for about 3 weeks, and someone just opened a little edge of it. Someone just went, and then Lewis just went explode. Like, let's just get out with it. I'm glad we released a bit of pressure today. I think we've saved some lives in the office today, so that's probably good. But ultimately, I've traditionally seen marketing as advertising. I think that's what most people have. Until I started my research, and actually was saying it's aligning your brand with where you want it to be, right? And I've always seen it's advertising, because when you hear about marketing, it's usually from the perspective of this company's doing marketing, this company's like pushing things out. What the company's doing is they're advertising. Marketing is exactly what you said, which is trying to align themselves with that image, trying to change what they do to align themselves with what they aspire to be or aspire to come across as. It's getting that. Is that what you're saying, right? It's getting that alignment clear.
Yes. I think it also, just to add in, like, marketing, if keyword is market. So obviously the reason why companies spend a shitload of money with like the branding side of things, which is a part of marketing, is because like without a good marketing strategy, your company will fuck up, because you want to position yourself in a particular way that is beneficial and and basically telling the market, quote unquote, where you position and why you provide value, which is why people spend a shitload of money, because everyone's trying to get your attention. So being able to showcase value is kind of the essence of it. I kind of see marketing now as basically kind of like networking, but for your company, because the whole point of networking is like you're trying to provide value to the market, which is the people, and marketing is kind of essentially that, to kind of simplify it to someone who doesn't know it. Instead of you networking for you, it's basically networking as companies. If companies were to network with people as opposed to you with people, it's essentially what you're trying to do.
Fair. That's fair. No, that is
I think,
fair.
yeah. I think it can be very complex, but yeah, go on.
So if I'm going to, you don't have external I guess you do through your sales teams. You have external companies come to you, don't they? Like indirectly, you're reached by companies who want to promote themselves. They want to advertise. Yeah. They want to advertise for your company, and that's the role you'd come in and play. So there is, back to the point I was trying to make earlier, there is a difference between advertising and marketing. It's a clear difference between the two. And I think what most people in societies do is we confuse advertising for marketing when the terminology is actually when the definitions are similar yet significantly different. Coming into play, let's say, I think at some point we've got to cover marketing techniques, but I think that's further down in the conversation. I guess realistically, someone's probably typed in marketing, found our video for the first time ever, and they're watching us, and we basically said, it's not what you think it is. So advertising, pushing the messaging out. What's the worst you've seen someone push their branding out? What's the worst case you've seen? Have you got examples from your experience?
I actually do. And the thing is, I see a lot of shit all the time. There's this company, I don't even know what the company do, but I was told to like push this campaign onto a platform that I was working on, and it was the worst like creatives or assets or whatever image that I've ever seen, because there was one which was like, it was advertising solar panels, but they were blurry in the background, and in front was like an old like married couple, and it looked like it was advertising like retirement homes. To this day, I can't even remember what the company were advertising, but we get some shit, and it's just like and like you as the publisher can't tell the client that your creative is shit, and when they're asking why aren't people clicking through, this is your benchmarks were 2% for this large banner, why is it so bad? And you're like, you can't just be like, big man, look at yourself, this is shit. And that's probably the most frustrating part, is when we have to make shit things look good, and the client complains to us, and then they want to get added value, which for the non-marketers or advertisers, which is like basically providing free money and like free impressions, brackets like views.
They want free placements.
They want free shit.
They want free shit
because they're ass, and we can't tell them like, why the campaign doing shit. I'm like, when like you can't just be like, sometimes it does shit because it is shit and the product is shit. And I think that from an advertising perspective, we need to be more selective and actually reject campaigns if it's not going to do well on the platform which we're doing it for, particularly if you're a partner for the platform, which in this case we are. And it's like, oh, why does this fail? And there's this disgusting part of working in advertising where the client's not accountable for anything bad, which they should be, because if your creative is shit and you're telling us to traffic this creative, and we don't have the privilege of being fully honest with you and saying this is going to be shit and it's not going to look good, and then it performs badly, and then all of a sudden it's our fault, but we can't say, well, your creative shit. So I think there needs to be more transparency there, and being like, look, because this creative is bad, people aren't going to engage with it because the offering, the thing that you're offering isn't appealing. And instead, what happens is all these platforms, they just say yes to everything. They just don't say no, because they're like, yeah, of course. Like working with a news platform, right? Why the fuck are we taking money from the likes of PlayStation and Disney Plus? Like, if I'm going onto a news app, why am I seeing Disney Plus ads? Like, Disney Plus should be marketing elsewhere, and these agencies have no idea what the fuck they're doing because they just have spend. Like, oh, we'll just spend across all these things. Like, why should Sony PlayStation advertise on Apple News? Like, gamers aren't going to be there. Like, no one's going to scroll all the news up and be like, the new Spider-Man 2, like no one, it's not the market for it. And I think there's not the common sense of you should probably market people where their interests lie. And that common sense doesn't really occur.
Are you not taking, well, are you not doing a sense, essentially lack of a pragmatic approach here? And please, like, let me try and explain, because I feel like that would be offensive if I just left it there in terms of saying I don't think you're thinking it through. But see it this way: are you not seeing it from your perspective as someone who has a PlayStation, where you would want to see the marketing because you frequent those areas and you come across it? Whereas in my experience, when I worked at uni days and we're booking a lot of marketing campaigns, certain marketing campaigns would just on their own sound silly. They're not impactful at all, right? So as someone who did the marketing there, it was very clear to me that the most effective marketing campaigns on the platform when I was working there, or the most effective campaigns that could be bought, were emails and push notifications.
Yeah.
They had the best click-through rates. They had the best conversions to cart on the client side as well, because I don't know, ultimately I think it's because the platform suffered with low daily engagements on the actual app, on the platform itself. So on-site promotions were not that great, because they had such a heavy email campaign system that as soon as someone came through an email, they already knew what they wanted, because the email brought me here. Or someone opening a discount app is because you're already about to buy something. Let me see if there's a discount on the app. You don't go look for a discount and then, I mean, maybe it happens, but it wasn't often that you go on there and you change your mind all of a sudden what discount you want, because unless Nike, a more prominent brand, is there, right? So in general, it became very clear to me that there were two ways to get really good click-throughs for a client when I was in sales. It was email and it was push notifications. And in most cases, the company would say, "Oh, but we need ads paid for." It was almost as though we were forced to pay for something. We were forced to encourage the sales something because it existed, not because it was effective. Does that make sense? When my argument would be, on-site ads don't perform well. They do okay when it's a big brand. In general, they don't perform well. So why don't we just ditch that and focus on email and push notifications and find other ways to push content out?
Yeah.
And the other follow-up to that is we come to learn very quickly it was to do with association with the platform. See, on-site ads didn't do well unless you're already a well-known brand. So the user already has trust with that brand externally before they come to the in-days platform, right? There were some brands that had been on the platform for so long that their on-site ads became more, you can see the trajectory, although it wasn't as steep as like Nike's do the discount, activity goes up, right? But the trajectory was positive. Like every time it'll go up, like it'll take months for it to go up by like one extra unique visit or unique click through, and it'll take ages, but eventually that number adds up, it snowballs in an upward trajectory. And it came to be clear that it was more about, is your brand willing to spend a crazy amount to become ever present in the back of someone's mind? It's to be in the right position. So you're saying that you're a news service, why they're promoting PlayStation.
So
think of it from PlayStation's perspective. That is one of 200 possible places that person's going to see PlayStation. They're going to see it on the train, in a train ad. They're going to see it they're going to go through IKEA on their way to IKEA and see it on a billboard.
I hear you. My argument is that the spend, they would get a lot more out of it if they were going to put it to those places. I understand you mean, because again, it's like different touch points, right? But if we're saying we can deliver X and we want to allocate more spend from, like Amazon, for example, or as an example, or like Netflix or whatever, where it's literally those platforms that are built for entertainment, or like Spotify, where people who listen to hip hop music and like all this sort of stuff are gamers, earlier tech adopters. So all those sort of things. Like a news app is just not like, why? Like just because it's there, and it's things like movies and shit like that. Like that's better on YouTube. And if we're saying, we can, like the platform can do video ads, but the video ads, the completion rate is significantly worse than elsewhere. So I'm like, why are you doing that then? And it's got to the point where I was saying to sales, I was like, you need to stop selling video because every single time it goes to shit and you make it my problem. Whereas actually it's because the platform is just not really built well for it. So I was like, you guys need to actually, if you guys want to actually tell your client, they'll respect you more by saying, listen, I think you should actually do this and not this, as opposed to being like, yes, of course, Mr. and Miss Client, we can do anything you say. We're not going to push back because we're fucking wimps, which is all of sales. Like, they have no backbone to say, this is actually what you should be doing with your money instead because of an expert in the platform and I know more about it.
I'll put it this way. When I was in sales, it was different because we had some clients that were, oh my God, they were so anal about every piece of ad they bought, to a point where they wanted a unique URL on every single ad placement. So I don't want to name the client, but effectively, they had us create a new hidden offer in the background. So the same offer that all the students would get, the only way we could do it, because I don't know if they fixed it now, but at the time the platform was so like archaic in how it worked, that the only way you could do it to basically have a unique link to all these ads, rather than have one link that all the marketing teams pointed the ads to, you basically had to have a link you had to create a new offer, a new discount for each single ad placement to make it work. So every time this client booked in like a 50K package, the production team would be like, oh my God, it's happening again. And they would have to create about 20 of the same design, clone it again, and then relink it all and send all the links to the marketing team. And they did that so they could track how on-site performance worked on every single tile component. So they can track how email performance worked, how push notifications worked, how everything worked. And ultimately, they had all the data they needed on their side to see how things performed directly from these ad placements through the app and everything. And they came to find out what we already knew, which is that the emails and push notifications work. But Lewis, please tell me why they came back and still bought these on-site packages. They demanded to have it. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it because I was just like, you've seen this. And that's where someone let me know from their side. It's not just about, we know what's going to perform well. We know what's going to do well. It's not just about that. For them, it was, they want to dominate the market. And Unidace for them was the platform to do that in, right? So because it's one of the top marketing platforms for Gen Z. So they wanted to dominate the market. How they were going to dominate the market was, even if it doesn't make them money, they want to be positioned where everyone else is to prove that they belong in the market to the user. So imagine it's Adidas versus Nike. If Nike is there, Adidas wants to be there. If Apple was there, Huawei want to be there. They don't care. They just wanted to know what the performance is. They can know that, okay, this is our loss leader out of all of it. But if they're going to be there, we want the next rotation on that carousel to be two of our products. And they basically gamed it that way. They were basically like, okay. And then those are the point where they were like, our competitor's this person. Whenever they buy a campaign, can you let us know? And I was like, we can't do that, but I can indicate when it will be a right time for you to buy a campaign. I can't tell you when they've bought it, but I can indicate when it will be a right time. So then from their perspective, it is, oh, maybe it's when they've bought it. But from my perspective, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Arguably, it's when bonus affig come and money needs to be hitting the bank account. So I'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, they bought a campaign. And I'll be like, I wouldn't say they bought a campaign. I'm like, it's now time to buy a campaign. And it's now time to buy it like 50,000 or 60,000. Either way, there's a level of competition that some brands want to have with their competitors, and that's how they do it with money. That's more common in tech brands, I've come to find, than anywhere else, because a lot of tech companies have marketing budgets and they have to spend that. The teams that spend the budget aren't the same teams that come up with the reason why they need to spend the budget in most cases. There's a team that talks to, there's still like the procurement team, and there's the actual like product team that are going, okay, this is the budget we've allocated towards marketing. Assuming that procurement are going to look at it and do the best they can with that. What they'll literally do is just come to us and go, I've got 50,000, help me spend it. Then we're just like, I've got many ways we can spend your 50,000, good sir. But you know what I can do better? I can help you spend 70,000 if you want to go ask for that as well. And then they'll go do that. And they'll come and they'll be like, let's spend this 70,000 on on-site placements. But yeah, long story short, that's the behavior I've seen more. Is even though a brand will know that it's a useless placement, they'll still pay for it just because it's a it's like it's strong arming. And I think a lot of it is, I hear what you said in terms of, okay, it's not cost effective. So within a week, you're wasting more money than you'd be making with certain advertising campaigns. And even then, like, why aren't you doing more effective click-through campaigns that will get you more sales, like email and push notifications? Because that'll still get you the notoriety you want. That'll still get you the attention you want, right? Yeah. I think there's more than that. I think there is, if you're able to play that mind game with the consumer and get your content in the right places consistently, if you can afford to do that, there's a longer lasting effect past the purchase. There's a longer lasting effect that can become generational. Like, some companies don't do marketing. And I think this would touch on what you were saying around the difference between marketing and advertising. Some companies do marketing more than advertising.
This is why, yeah, I agree. And I'm going to use that to kind of like pivot more into what I think would be more relatable. It's just kind of like where, like, brands that you think have marketed well and how they kind of build a brand based off that. And like the example which I love is, I know we talked about Michael Jordan. And like the color red was banned in the M4. So context, people don't know this, right? Before Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan, they were designing the shoe. He wanted red on the shoes, which is now the most infamous like shoe of all time. And basically, if Michael Jordan wore these Jordan 1s, he would be fined £5,000 every single game. And Nike just kind of firmed it and were like, well, we'll just pay the fines for every single one because it's going to be the most iconic shoe for the most iconic basketball player. And the company made billions off it and basically used the notoriety to like build the brand off that. So the brand of Jordan and Nike kind of elevated that. And I don't know if you've ever read Shoe Dog, but which is Phil Nike like founder CEO's memoir. It's like Nike was all about running shoes, and basketball was like, people were like, oh, basketball's dead, like why are we doing basketball shoes? And because they basically discovered like Michael Jordan and were like, he's going to be like the best player ever, built the shoe around that, and the rest is history. I recommend everybody watch Air. It's a great film on Michael Jordan, of sure, all the story of Air Jordan. But that's like a marketing story that I love. Another one which I think was like my dream company to work for at some point is Red Bull, because Red Bull defeat like I love when like brands go against like the entire like the 101s of marketing, which is what I kind of also want to tap into.
What are
they?
You don't need what are the 101s quickly
do that. It's like, you should have a really succinct, clear value brand, which you know what you're getting, and have a call to action, and make it very simple and measurable. Red Bull's an energy drink. They do not advertise about energy drinks. They have athletes doing flips in helicopters. No one and everyone knows what Red Bull do, but they don't talk about energy drink.
I think this is where, like, once again, I get a bit confused. Once again, we touch on the gray area of like what you highlighted marketing in is, and what you said advertising is, and we're sticking to that definition because I really like the description you gave. And someone can come and say we're wrong and fine. At least we've triggered you to go and look into it a bit more, and that's all we want anyway. But the two clear definitions you made, Red Bull tiptoe over that on a regular basis, because through the definition you gave of aligning your brand image. Or was it?
Yeah.
You said again.
Aligning brand identity with brand image.
There you go. Aligning brand identity with brand image. That is Red Bull Sports, in a sense. It's the idea that their drink gives you energy. Their drink makes you hyper. It's like the rush of life. That's all they do. You don't see Red Bull snooker tournaments. You don't see Red Bull chess games, right? You see Red Bull athletes risking life just so we can watch it for 2 minutes on a YouTube video. We'll know they'll survive, but we'll still watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
True,
we see Red Bull. We saw the highest base jump, the guy who jumped out of the balloon in space.
Yeah.
Red Bull. He had Red Bull printed right on that space helmet, jumping out. Like they are the ultimate marketing company, I'd say.
Yeah. But it's so interesting how
It's
so interesting how like you can have a Nike ad without any marketing. You can strip away and have a Nike ad and a Red Bull ad, and some of them will look the same, like because Nike sometimes like step out of the box and like do that sort of stuff, but their marketing technique can be somewhat similar for two completely different things. Because Red Bull could do a Nike and like evolve into like a sports thing, but they never will. It's about the drink, but the marketing's the same. Like they market to the same people, which is interesting.
You just say advertising is part of marketing, but marketing isn't always advertising.
Yeah.
So
I would say that.
Why?
Because you could have word of mouth.
That you say exactly.
I wouldn't. Yeah, because you could have word of mouth, which isn't advertising. It's marketing.
It's a form of exactly. So why I wanted to check on that distinction was there is 3 examples I want to present of brands that do marketing over advertising. Microsoft's with Microsoft Education. In the UK, and I think they've done it in the US as well. Almost every school in the UK, they've saturated markets for sure. Almost every school, every college, every university uses Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Office. All of the whole 365 suite is given away to these institutions for free, or it's sold to the institutions for next to nothing. I remember I sat down with a lady from Microsoft Education when we were working on a Unidays campaign, and she explained to me, because I was like, you literally just throw this out for free. And like, I feel like I know why you do it, but I'm going to double check with you. And I said, you do it because you're hoping that people would use Microsoft when they get older and they'll just keep buying it, because that's a long game. And she's like, no, it's even better. It's basically, if all you learn in uni and school to use to do all your work is Microsoft programs, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, an employer has to install these features to make sure that they hire the best of the best. So we're giving it to universities, we're giving it to schools. Everyone's using Microsoft tools as their base learning skills. The employer has to pay for the business package to hire these people. And it's like, on top of that, if we then, at the very least, if we make Microsoft a staple in the ecosystem, international business partners need to sign up to the same infrastructure. So like these companies, their marketing is going to the roots of the problem. It's going to the very beginning and spreading through there. Another example, Coke and Santa.
Yeah.
Santa wasn't always red. Santa was green. Coke brings out red Santa. I have not seen a single person wear green. Coke, the red Santa's Coke.
No way.
It's Coca-Cola brand. It's a Cola brand Santa. Santa was green. I learned, and in my whole life, I've never known Santa to be green.
That's blowing my fucking life. That's blowing my mind.
There you go. Tesla and giving away their battery patent. They didn't give away the granular patent. Tesla came in as electric car company, and electric cars have actually existed decades before Tesla came around, could I just say?
Yeah.
Right? Decades before. But they never grew because the infrastructure was weak. There wasn't any charging stations. It was almost impossible to charge long enough. You'd be charging a car for like a week at home to even get a bit of power to go. So the recognized problem for Tesla, terrible infrastructure, no one trusts it, everyone's got battery anxiety. How do we speed run this industry well enough that our brand will grow? They released the high-level roadmap of their patent and just let every other car company get a taste of what they need to do to touch base. Now, almost every major car company has an electric vehicle. Every major company uses 1 of 3 or 4 charging adapters. Most charging infrastructures in the UK now can handle everything. Most charging infrastructure don't even account for Tesla because they are so widespread as the market leaders. They are now part of the core of electric cars. I don't think there's anyone who you can ask, name 3 electric car brands, and Tesla isn't one of them.
Right?
It's
true.
So it's all like, so what I'm trying to say is there's like generational marketing. It's like,
It's true.
are you willing to like work your marketing in a way where you might die and your company will still be succeeding off the back of the market? So you're not going to get rich off
It's
this
like
plan.
one of the real smart ones, and I think another clear distinction between marketing and advertising is like usually advertising is an evident paid for placement. Like you can tell what an advert, you can tell the advert like anyone can, but you can't always tell marketing. And the most subtle one, which was the most, I think this isn't spoken about a lot, but I remember hearing this, can't remember where, when I know you're an Android person, but in an email, what do you see at the bottom other than the person's name?
Oh, sent from iPhone or
Sent from iPhone.
Yeah.
That was a marketing tactic. So people go like, what the fuck's an iPhone? And now to this day, right? If you send an email from my iPhone, it still says sent from iPhone. Sent from iPhone. I mean, that's how iPhone grew, because everyone's just like, what? Because people can't be asked to go and delete that when they send an email. You have to go
into your footer settings and delete that setting to replace.
Even that, it's long, but no one does that. And that's just an easy adoption. It's the same way for like how that's how Apple grow their entire ecosystem of like, they're not going to tell you to download Apple Maps or stocks or everything. They're just going to give it to you on a platform, and you'll just be like, oh, what's that? And now you can't be asked to delete it. You can delete these if you want to, but you won't, because they know that people are lazy. And so when you're already in the ecosystem, it's so easy for you to integrate and build on that already, and it's so easy to market other shit. Like, for example, Instagram and Threads. Threads is dead now, but you probably still have Threads on your phone. Like, or Threads, if not,
I mean, you've not got a choice. You have to have Threads because you have Instagram. Now, if you create an Instagram account, you basically, you practically.
Oh no. So here's the thing. Like, now, if you have Threads, you can't just delete your Threads account. You have to delete your entire Instagram account. So they've just made you lock in whether you like it or not, which is evil. But
really
like,
good. This is a really good segue, and touching back on something we mentioned earlier. But before we skip on to that, I wanted to quickly touch on. We'll come back to it. I think before we go on to like how our weeks has been, we do a catch up. Please, like, let's put a note down to come back and actually maybe talk about some good advertising techniques for a startup, just high level.
We could do a whole episode. We could do an episode on that.
And I think we would. I think we actually should. I think we should. I would want to do a lot more research and tests with our brand Evolve. I want to do some tests and like do a whole like, this is what we did versus this is what went bad, this is what went wrong. I want to go into that detail. So people, give us time. We'll do. I mean, the best way you can help us is follow us, subscribe to us, all of that stuff. Because then you can help us actually do a test I really want to run around marketing and market planning. But okay, actually, with that in mind, then I'll skip on to what I wanted to say. I think this segues nicely into when it's gone wrong. When you've basically tried so hard it's flopped. And there's two examples that come to mind very easily for me. One of them is, as you said, Threads. It's a really good example for a very common problem I see. Whereas a marketing team cares more about the people they work with than the users. And I'm not saying that they hate their users. I'm saying that I am a marketing person. I have a friend in our company who's made a feature that they really care about. I'm now going to devote a crap ton of our marketing effort to just validate this idea. So they market with a massive bias, and they put all the efforts into enforcing their behavior, because now loads of people in the company are tied into the success of this one thing working. Whether it's right or wrong for its users, they'll push and pull until that idea works. And I think in an unfortunate way, I think Threads is an example of that. I think it's an example of basically saying, oh, there's loads of people leaving Twitter. Where are they going to go? Let's create Threads, a platform where everyone can be besties with each other because it's built on the Instagram model, built with the Instagram kind of report system and all that. Twitter is now freedom of speech central, even though they get rid of people for speaking freely sometimes. Threads is like, let's actually get back to basic social media. Let's bring the old Twitter back. And they've basically gone, let's do that. And it had a huge spike in growth, massive spike in growth for Threads, because everyone who hated Elon Musk basically came over to Threads. And I remember when I got Threads on the first day, and it was basically a massive like, oh my God, this is so happy. Let's sit by the campfire. Let's roast some marshmallows. Everyone loved it. I've never seen people be so nice to each other on social media for 1 week straight.
And there were no ads.
And there were no ads, right? And then all of a sudden, people then start pointing out, why can't I delete my Threads account?
Yeah.
Why can't I remove Threads from my profile in Instagram?
And also, why are there no toxic memes on here? Like, why am
exactly?
I here?
Why is it not funny? And inside,
I miss Twitter.
But like, literally, and people actually went back to Twitter after a while because it's like, oh, I missed the drama. But it's almost like the marketing team bought in so hard into this that they've completely integrated this feature into their platform that is now slowly becoming redundant for a lot of users. I have not typed Threads since the first week I looked at it, but it's just there now. If you go on my profile, my Threads ads is there, and I would like to make that go away, to be honest with you. But I can't. It's there now. We're stuck with it. When I go on it, I see people marketing, but I just see brands talking to each other because most users are just there to like put silly voice clips in the comments, type literally random words, and then dip. That's it. There's little interaction. So I think that's one example. And then the other, I've actually kind of lost track because I went in so hard on the Threads one. But there was one other bad example I was thinking of, which was Google Glass. I think I've talked about it as an example before on this pod. But it's when you failed to actually embed a very blue sky idea into the ecosystem. And I think this alludes into if you're like me and Lewis with our one-man budget for a business idea, and you've got this really cool invention. If your invention isn't somewhat similar to something that already exists in society, in terms of its looks and feels, and it involves someone having to take it outside with them, if it doesn't somehow resemble an experience in society, it won't take off. It just won't. Unless you've got billions to spend on marketing and promoting it and paying celebs to wear it. Google Glass is an example of, we all thought of a future where you had a screen in front of you and you could touch it because we'd seen it in sci-fi movies. They launched it. They paid millions for celebs to go to parties wearing this thing. They paid millions for people just to walk around and wear Google Glass. There was like 3 weeks straight when we were younger, where every time I watched any should you remember Entertainment TV, wherever it was, but anytime I saw anything about Grammys, there was always some random celebrity who I've never seen with even a mobile phone before wearing Google Glass, just walking around. And I remember we went to the European Innovation Academy, and the product manager, the product guy who worked on Google Glass came, and he was like, why it flopped was because they hadn't successfully embedded such a weird looking product into society before they released it. So people just looked at Google Glass and were like, what the hell is that? I'm not wearing that on my face. And it completely flopped, even though it was like space age technology when it came out. It was years beyond itself in tech. And I always wanted to try it on, but Lord knows I'm not paying that much money to wear that. It looks silly and get bullied at school.
It was too expensive, and you probably couldn't watch porn on it, and you couldn't play games on it. So what was the point? Genuinely, if you want to get people in, it's the two vices.
And then that's the other thing to consider as well. It's the pricing of things as well. Companies get up themselves, and they basically do this big marketing campaign where they will entice you with something, and that's the opposite. Okay, let me be a bit clearer. Maybe you can clean this up at the edit because I waffled a little bit there. But companies can do the opposite, where they will pick something that already exists, but think that their brand is worthy enough to charge silly prices for it. The Apple VR glasses, you might as well get MetaQuest. MetaQuest is literally better and cheaper. The only thing that makes the Apple VR glasses better is because it's Apple. That's literally it. The only people that have bought it are influencers. The cost is $3,000 compared to like $1,000 something for MetaQuest. That's already popular and people already know exactly what they're looking for. So that's an example of a company that got a bit too big for their boots. And then there's another type, is Dyson. Have you seen the Dyson headphones with the filters?
Bro, they're ass. Yeah, I've seen them.
They're meant to be ass because it's a loss leader. It's something that will make you come in, because this new generation don't know Dyson like we knew Dyson. They don't know Dyson like our parents knew Dyson. I would say our generation and our parents' generation know Dyson as like the best vacuum company that's ever existed, right? And Dyson were kind of they're now losing to Henry Hoover again, right? They're now losing to all types of other brands because people don't really know who Dysons are in these new generations. They pick something that's popular, which is headphones. They pick something that's silly just to get people to come to their platform and look at what else Dyson does. Like, you're going to click that headphone ad and they know no one's going to buy it, but it's a loss leader because people are going to come through to their website, laugh at the Dyson and go, oh, hold on, the Hoover. Oh, hold on, a hairdryer. All these things. Dyson is a fan.
The thing is, it's like, but it's quite interesting that you said Hoover, because I didn't know that Hoover was actually a brand.
It's a brand. Vacuum cleaner.
And I remember when I got a Dyson, I said Dyson Hoover. They said don't ever say that, because friend of mine used to work there. Yeah, and it's like, you can't call Dyson a Hoover. No. It's like, what? I didn't know Hoover was a. I thought it was a Hoover. I thought it was another name for a. It's like, it's
literally.
I was like, all right.
Yep.
Sorry.
But that's the thing. It's like, so there is a distinct difference between marketing and advertising, and I think the point we've got to in this pod is that we, as people, we experience in marketing way more than we experience advertising. The thing is, advertising's in your face. It's clear what it is. It's in your TV. It's, you get an ad placement. Marketing, it's embedded into society, and sometimes it makes me feel a bit sick when I realize that I've been marketed to, because I feel like I'm being hypnotized.
One thing which I think is which is what I think we could do another hour on a couple of things, but one thing which we haven't touched upon, I think you actually briefly did, is celebrities and celebrity endorsement and influencers. Because when you said when it goes wrong, I immediately thought of Pepsi and Kendall Jenner. If you remember that infamous advert.
That went wrong.
Or did it, right. Sam? Because
I know
guess who got more engagement? Guess who got more engagement? Guess who probably made more money, even though it went wrong? True. It's like, oh, this advert. Like, I want to hear, oh, this advert's causing an uproar. I watch it every single time. There's more awareness about that brand more than it was like here's a really like PC advert. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can't recall any other Pepsi ad now apart from that one.
Oh no, there's one. There's only one other Pepsi ad I know of. And oh my god, we really could. Marketing and advertising is such like a rabbit hole of content to talk about.
It is. It's like
we literally need another channel just to talk about that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we actually could.
But what I want to talk about, the only other Pepsi advert I know about is, and they made a documentary about it. It's Give Away the Fighter Jet. Did you watch that one? So Pepsi did this campaign where, like, if you bought like 5 million cans or something, you've got like 5 million tokens. You know, like Monopoly, the McDonald's Monopoly thing where you can like every time you buy it, you get a ticket. Yeah. So Pepsi did a thing where it's almost like a point system for every can you bought, and they said once you got to like 5 million or something, they'll give you a fighter jet. And like on the way there was sort of like, if you got like 10, you got this prize and all that. It was like a weird, like it was a reward scheme. And that fighter jet was meant to be like, they just thought of a really high number that no individual could get to. And this one guy, because America is America, and people in America are gone America. That's just how they are. So this one guy basically got everyone to join forces and give him all their cans, give him all their tokens, and he got enough to get a fighter jet. Did Pepsi give him a fighter jet? No, they didn't. Did he take them to court? Yes. Did the court side with him? No, he didn't get a fighter jet. Funny enough, he actually does have a fighter jet now, but he had to pay for it himself. But that's just how, like, Pepsi lost such a huge following by doing that. And they tried every which way to, like, bribe him into other things. And they just lost a massive following because they failed to deliver on their promise. But to this day, Pepsi is known for that cock-up. It's still known for that. And it's one of those, like, it was the birth of the disclaimer on advertising in America.
Okay.
It's the birth of, like, this is just an advert. Because they quickly then released another version of the advert, which is, like, effectively going, you idiot, it's obviously an advert. We're obviously not going to give you a jet, you idiot. But yeah, it's the birth of those silly disclaimers that let you say, like, this drink won't help you fly. Do not drink Red Bull and jump out a window. Like,
yeah,
that's basically it. So,
I'm suing you. That's jokes.
I mean, when you're a kid and you see adverts like that, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because it's just like,
it is true.
Fly. That's all I've wanted. Yeah. That was, oh my god, there's so much more. I'm gonna make some notes on, like, we need to, like, pause after this ep and probably plan if, like, I can already crawl 10 episodes out of
celebrity endorsement episode is
that's gotta be one. Can we do that next?
That's gotta be one.
Can we just do that next?
We can do that next.
All right, cool. Next episode is because we got some bad endorsements to talk about.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We'll pause there. This.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This has brought up a lot of emotions for me because it's just work. I feel like I've been on a work call for an hour.
I do feel like, I mean, if these are your work calls, it's not bad. I don't know what you're
To be
moaning
fair,
about
to be
other
fair,
time.
yeah, I digress. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
The first 10 minutes I'm talking about digital ads, it did feel like work, but it's fine. So, but yes, in the world of Sam, how is everything?
Oh, things are good. Things are good. So, I've started my new role in Experian. It's probably let's leave it there.
Yeah.
In terms of that, if there's more information, I'll give you more information. Let's leave it there.
That's fine.
Started a new role.
Cool.
And it's nice. It's okay. Let's leave it there. So there's a lot of positive, deep discussions being had in the Knobs Grantson home. The Grantson. I just gave out
nice
stuff name. I don't really care. But yeah, there's a lot of positive discussions being had. There's a lot of life discussions being had. But I will. Okay, I'll pause for a second. Are you right for me to talk about the difference in cost of living between me and you?
Yeah, I literally was about to mention it.
Cool. Then we can segue into that. So, right now I'm still feeling a bit. Okay, so back to it. Actually, you know what? Let's carry on normally. Anyway, let's carry on normally. Yeah. Right now, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by the amount of decision I've had to make. And it sounds really petty. Like, oh my God, you've had to pick between who to interview for, and you've had to you do all things. Some of us are still trying to get a CV to get accepted. I get that. And I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through. But I'm still kind of healing off like the past role, the past experience. And I'm trying to get my head around things, get my mind in the right gear. So a lot of life moments have paused, and now I'm picking them back up again. So aiming to finish the PhD this year still. So I'm hoping by New Year's it's done. New Year's when I'm drinking, and New Year's I'm popping another bottle for the PhD because it should be done. I should have written it now, and then it'll be getting reviewed by the tutors. And if I need to make changes, I'll make changes to it before the Viva. But hopefully it's done this year. And then, yeah, on top of that, it's just kind of the BMW might be going. It might be staying. Likely might be going because at this point, I'd rather pay 9,000 whatever it is to get rid of it and start and get a new car. That is not electric, that I don't have to charge, because Sarah's basically sat down and gone, I'm not doing another journey to London where on the way back I'm sat in some charging station. I don't want to do this anymore. And I was just like, but it's fun. We have chin wags. We watch movies. We watch Netflix. And she's like, Sam, most of the time you don't even have to charge the car on the way back. You just do it so that you don't have to charge it every night at home. And I'm just like, yeah, but like, I don't want to get home on 30% because in my head, it's like, what if I get home on 30% and then something kicks off at home with my mum and I have to drive back quickly? Like, I'd rather charge on the way there.
Scaffolding.
And then, exactly. Lewis. So, we might be making that go away, and I'll be looking into getting like a 4x4 hybrid or something like that.
Yeah, fucking up the world. Nice.
Yeah. Hey, hybrid. Plug-in hybrid for 30 miles of that journey. For 30 miles of that journey, it'll be electric.
Get petrol. Get petrol.
You know what I might do? I might just burn some dinosaurs on the roof of the car on the way there, and then wave like, just spray air freshener out the window just for fun of it. Just wave it all up. Yeah, just rock it.
Get that
why not? Elon, hit me up, man. Let's screw up this planet together so we could jump onto the next one.
Nice.
But ultimately, a massive wake up call was when we met up in London recently, and we talked about.
We did. Oh yeah, Sam and I met up yesterday. Yeah, but not just for bread.
Yeah, we're friends. Right?
Sam, I don't know if you actually realize that's the first time we've seen each other since starting the pod.
Oh my God! Can I also say it surprised me how tall you were, because I forgot how tall you are. I'm not gonna lie. So that's right. You're like 6'2".
I'm dead on 6.
You're dead on 6. You're like I feel shorter now. What do you mean you're dead on 6? I'm 5'11". The difference is considerably more.
I'm telling you now, Sam, you're not 5'11".
I'm a 5'10". I'm a 5'9", bro, aren't I?
No, it's 6. It's 6 foot. It's 6 foot in Nottingham, but it's fine.
I don't care about 6 foot. I just want to be 5'11" and cute. But yeah, There were some platforms.
Well, to be fair, I think with to be fair, I was wearing Jordan 5s yesterday. I probably was 6'2" with those on. To be fair,
so you're just out here, just emotionally devastating, man.
Genuinely, probably. Yeah, I mean, cool. No, genuinely, it's like an inch of. It's probably like an extra inch of height with the Jordan 5s on. To be fair,
that's okay. Cool. That makes me feel.
It's all good.
So I'm still 5'11", people. I'm still cute. Still cute. But yeah, we were talking about the cost of lives, the differences in pays, and it's always like, so arguably after my car and everything comes out, even before then, my pay is less than yours, right? We discuss this. We're quite open with each other when it comes to pay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, excluding bonuses, but tax man, close your ears, mind your business. Excluding bonuses and all that, my general salary is less than Lewis's. However, my take home is after I pay my bills, after I pay for my BMW, after I pay for Netflix, Disney Plus, all of those things. You know what? Let me just add in. After I include my once a year trip to another country, the budget me and Sarah have for that, all of that is less than Lewis's rent.
Yeah, probably. For the next place, it definitely would be. For the
right now it is.
For the one bed.
Right now it's less than your rent.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Right now it is.
No, honestly, after that conversation, I genuinely changed my life because like the two, so like, because I was looking into like a one bed for Rosie and I next year, and it's gonna cost like 2.3 basically.
Yeah.
Excluding bills. And then I had that realization like yesterday. I was like, wait a minute, I could have like discovered I had free will. I was like, why am I doing this?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right. And now I was like, Rosie, we need to move out because this is actually dumb. Like if you to combine, when you combine Rosie's and mine's salaries, we're over 6 figures.
Yeah.
And that's to afford a good one bed. And I was like, this is clearly fucked. So London's going in the shitter. And I'll tell you now.
This is comparison to this is all for one bed flat. I have a 3-bed house.
And 2 cats.
And I have
and a car.
My cats have a room. We each have a car. And we each have a car. It's not just we have one car. Yeah, Sarah has her own car and I have my own car.
Yeah, and I kind of was like saying to Rosie, I was like,
we have a garden.
We need to...
Do we have a garden?
Yeah, I was like, you know what? This is actually worth being here. And I'll tell you now, Sam, I've already inquired at places like outside of London.
You just get out of London.
To like commute in. And genuinely, it's like, it's more than half of what it like take like a K, like places like 1.2. And I'm like, oh. And I instantly, when Rosie was like, yeah, okay, back it, let's do that.
Yeah.
I instantly felt so much less stressed. And I was like, oh, maybe it's because I feel like I'm working to survive all the time is making me want to fucking off myself.
Get the money up, bro. Okay, wow.
But I was like,
make a limited company so we can get you company well-being services.
I was like, maybe that's like a source of my stress is like, I feel like I should be, reaping the benefits of, earning more money as I've got older, being 6 years in London. And I haven't felt that at all because life's fucking me over. And you know what? I had this really fun activity with my flatmate yesterday. We calculated that actually how much rent I've paid living in London for the past 6 years. And guess.
You lived in London for the past 6 years on average about.
Without trying to do the math.
Oh, okay. Oh, my brain. At least in the past 6 years, you have paid. I'm just going to do some crazy math. You've definitely paid about what? Over about 70, 80,000?
69,000. 69,000 pounds on rent. Just me, by the way. Yeah.
That's just you.
That's just me, bro.
So if you're living in London, get out. If you want to buy and rent property in London, get in. game because these fools will pay anything just to have a good life and go party on a regular basis.
69,000.
I tell everyone who's come out of uni, especially when you've come out of uni, I'm talking to you lot in Nottingham Trent University.
Stay home.
Stay in Nottingham. Why do you go to London? There's a direct train to London that you can live in Nottingham and take that train and still save more money than to live in London and pay that much on rent.
If
you've got a remote job that you literally went into the office once or twice a month, it's cheaper to live in Nottingham by the train station.
It's true.
And travel than it is to live in London. What? Just so what? You can go to Box Park with your friends. Just honestly, so you can do that.
The first few years, like I was like, yeah, vibey, cool, young, vibrant, and it wasn't that bad then. Post-COVID,
and then you realise everyone's a crackhead.
Post-COVID is fun. I was actually saying to my friend, it's like, hey, do you want to live in a really expensive town where the crime is rife? Pints cost £8. And you know, you get your phone jacked, you could get stabbed, and you're just working to survive. London.
That's literally it. That's so sad.
But I was just like, but now because now it's like I want to, build my life, build my future. I'm not interested in going out to 4 a.m. because I'll feel like shit if I want to do that. And it's actually like I don't really need to be here because even if I do go out on the week with my mates, like I want to be back before 12 anyway. So
exactly.
Why don't I just fucking leave? And I kind of just realized, like, I don't actually have to deal with this shit. So, yeah, gonna move out of London is the plan now. Because
sounds like a good move.
Hearing your freedom made me realize I was like, it ain't 1800s
I'm not
here.
Gonna lie,
it's 1800s.
It felt great knowing how much more money I had even after my silly spending habits. And guys, I have no self-control with money.
Yeah.
I have terrible behavior with money. And look at me, enjoying life. I might get another cat. Fuck it. I might get a dog and a cat. No. I might get another one. Sarah, we're getting another cat.
But I was just like, bro, I know this is going into it's going to go political, but like, it's going to get to a point where I was saying this to Rosie. I think everyone is going to be pushed out of London just from financial perspective within the next few years, like within the next like 2 to 3, because like so the same one bed that Rose and I were looking at, like exact same area, exact same location that my brother used to a few years ago, it's like a £500 per month difference. Like he was paying £500 less.
How long ago did he live there?
He lived there like 5 years ago.
You know what?
No, just for
that
5 years ago, I think.
It's actually it's held its value well for it to have only increased by that much in 5 years.
It could be more. It was like either 1.6 or 1.8, which is a big difference. But now it's like 2.3.
The only reason I would imagine it to even stay like that, I would expect it to have increased by more. The only reason I'd imagine it stayed like that is because someone has lived there for a considerable amount of time since your brother locked in a contract for that long. That they've held the pay. They've held the amount for that.
Based on the location, I know it's a quick rotation. Like people usually do 12 months dip, 12 months dip. People don't usually live that long. But
I'm impressed.
Just like put it this way, when I moved here, it was like slapped on like 10% increase, then like a 5%, and it's like it's gone up like 150 quid. Like it's nuts. So yeah, from a London is getting kind of mad, and because I'm sorted out and I'm not actually wanting to do the nightlife and spend 200 quid on a night out, and like, don't you know how I said to you, I wake up and it cost me to breathe in London. I woke up to £8.50 from national like TFL or some shit. I'm like, yeah, that's what I saw on my phone this morning. It's all good morning text because I'm going gym, and it's just cool, woke up, what's that notification? Yeah, 8 quid for some reason because I hopped on the tube. Cool, nice. So it's just dumb. It's actually just dumb. So yeah, if you're listening to this, get out of London, reconsider getting out in next year because it's gonna get worse. We've got a new government in. It's just gonna get more expensive. It's just not on. But yeah,
I mean, I'm a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want it to be political. I guess I kind of am a fan of the new government, but yeah, I don't think. Yeah, we're not gonna get political. We're just not. I just don't like any government, to be honest. I just don't like any of them.
Yeah, but I
don't want to know. Like,
we're comparing different piles of shit. Let's be
I was just gonna say,
like,
it depends.
we
Like,
can't
it was
be
one worse
you're never gonna
situation
hear
that we
me.
got comfortable with.
Yeah, you're never gonna
You're not
get
gonna
me, like hardcore back in anyone.
I would never. I'm never hardcore back in anyone. Yeah,
based off budget releases, like things are gonna get more expensive. Taxes
People
gonna get a
about to
little
lose
bit
their
more.
jobs.
But London is just fucked. So getting out. So that's my focus now for the next couple of months. Okay. And I already feel a lot less pressure, and I feel a lot less nervous because being me and how I am, not to be like, oh, sexist or whatever, but I would like to be. I always want to know, like, if everything were to go to shit, like, I've got things covered. Like, that's just very much how I am.
You want to be the man of the house.
The vine.
You want to be a provider. I
want to know if Rosie was like, I've lost my job and everything. I'll be like, it's cool. Don't worry, it's cool.
He wants to be a dream maker. He wants to make your dreams come true, girl.
I want to be in that position, and
I'm not gonna lie.
Like, say if. In London, it's going to be impossible. Yeah. It'll be like, you like, I lost my job. I'll be like, you better fucking apply. Like, because I can't do this. Whereas, like, if it's like in Hayward Heath, I'm like, oh yeah, calm. Don't worry. Yeah. Do you. Have a couple months off.
What hobby do you want to start? Do you want to join a knitting club? I've got you.
Yeah. So having that, it's just like that safety is, and in this world where, like, you know, like the industry I'm in, it's just like, you just don't know. You can do some job for the next week. Like, so it was just a bit on edge. And the idea of moving out has already made me be like, if once we get that place, I'm going to be like, and breathe. Like, it's cool. Like, it's calm. So yeah, I feel good. It's very, I don't see this as a negative. Like, I'm moving out of London. I actually see this as very positive, to be honest, because I'm going to be paying half for like twice the space that I would do if I were to stay. Yeah. It just, and the thing is, like, I understand, like, the idea of, like, oh, you know, like, you're going to be a bit further out and it can be isolating and stuff like that, but we're actually moving to where, like, a lot of her home friends are and, like, close to her family too. So that kind of solves that. But also I was like, if we do this move now, we're going to be in a much better position for the next few years because we could actually, like, you know, build a home, buy a home, and all that sort of stuff, and actually begin that phase of our life. Because if we're going to stay in London, we're just going to piss money.
Honestly, the best you could do
what we're going to do anyway.
The closest thing to children you have is one cat. If you live in London, the closest thing you'd have is one cat, and it'll be a house cat because Lord knows you can't let it go walk outside in the streets. It's not coming back.
That's what I mean, bro.
A pigeon will kill
it. Yeah, that was a long life update, but it's a positive one. So yeah, I'll keep you updated,
enough, dude. Fair enough. Yeah,
keep tight on that, man. I already applied to place this morning. I've been on the phone a lot today. Be like, listen, bro. Even jobs I've like applied in Brighton, like just to
in Brighton.
Yeah.
Oh, Rosie's family. Yeah.
But it's like the pay would still be cool. So we've had that conversation as well. So.
Yeah,
and again, that'll reduce.
Brighton's quite expensive now, isn't it, to live there?
Well, it'll be like 20 minutes into Brighton by like car or like train, if that were an option. But yeah, I'm considering moving my life down there because, fuck London, man. It's seriously pissing me off.
I hear that. I hear it.
Yeah, can't wait to wake up to TFL taking money from me tomorrow. But anyway, on that doom and gloom, thank you guys for joining. If you enjoyed, leave it 5 stars. If you hate London, share, tell a friend. Tell a friend the last 15 minutes positive note. If you're in London, run. But yeah, love you guys. See you guys next week.
Oh my god. All the people that moved to London.